going to be our news. Alright? Okay, first we'd like Lale to come to the front. Right, and once we're going to say this is our TV. We all are here at home, sitting in our couches and we're watching news. Now Lale is our news, okay? Right, Lale, say good morning. Right.
Good morning.
My name is Lale.
My name is Lale.
And this is my news.
And this is my news.
Good morning, people. My name is Michelle.
My name is Michelle.
I'm going to give you news about sports.
I will be
Going to give you the news about sports.
Good morning, people.
My name is Gosiyame.
My name is Sofiame.
And I'm going to tell you about the weather. I am going to tell you about the weather. Okay, tell us. Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? What's the weather? Look outside, my angel. It's a cloudy day today. You are going to draw a picture about your news. So if you were playing soccer yesterday, you can draw you and your friend who playing soccer. Or netball. Or you want to draw the weather. You want to draw a sunny day or a rainy day or cloudy day. Soccer field. So smart. Offensive was behaving very well, so we're going to move her lollipop upwards. Thank you. I want to see your writing. Let's go down. Stop, touch the line. Go up, around. Sit down, sweetie. Around, down, touch the line. Who's it? Majestic, Abdullah. Majestic, look here. Majestic comes next and let's start. Go down.
And how did you think your discipline went in the classroom today?
Normally I have the attention. So I just because my cameras were there, they're all like, no one's listening to me. They look like, wow, look at the camera.
Okay.
So I think that was like new for them because making no noise when in class, it's just me and my learners.
Okay, yes, of course. So it was a bit intimidating today with the cameras in the classroom and things didn't go exactly the way you wanted it to go. Okay. So, but don't worry about that. The children will get used to it eventually. So, tell me quickly, it was a good idea. It's always a good idea to remind the learners about your discipline in the classroom and your discipline structures in the classroom. Sometimes it's a good idea to do that right at the beginning, in the morning, the first thing. Okay? So when you refer to the moving of the lollipop in the classroom, that normally you need to remind the learners at the beginning of your lesson, okay, or at the beginning of the day. So at the beginning of the day, immediately after break, immediately after second break, and say, boys and girls, remember, you know, we have a discipline in the classroom, you get rewarded for good behavior, but I can also move the lollipop back if you're not behaving. So will you try that the next time?
Thank you so much.
So very good discipline to manage your classroom is first thing in the morning to remind them of the classroom rules, maybe even the school rules. Fix the posture, put your feet together, don't fiddle in the classroom, and look at ma'am.
Thank you. I think so to do that.
You know. So yeah, those are just one of the things that I wanted to check with you quickly. And then you went around after when you started and you did your lesson, your news lesson. I like that you had the news box, the TV box, the old school TV box. That was very nice. Did you make that yourself?
I did.
Yeah. So you placed the news box over the children's heads and they did their news. And that was really good. I really enjoyed that. That was very well done. I also liked where you helped each learner, that one learner, one by word for word for word.
Cute.
Why did you do that?
See, I have 11 official languages in my classroom. Now that child is a Zimbabwean. I try to involve like all the languages, but I can't like speak 11, say English and then 11. It's quite hard. So I leave it about like say 10 to 80% Sipedi. So I get one line to come and speak Sipedi. And for her it's quite hard. Like she like I don't know how to go about with her, like how do I don't even know Zimbabwean, and no one in my class speaks English in Zimbabwe. So what we do is I just speak to her and make her repeat word for word after me.
Yes.
She'll remember.
That's a very good practice.
And her mom's helping me also to speak English to her.
Okay. No, that's very good practice to do. Right. The only other things that I could recommend during your news lesson is to ask other children, ask the newsreader questions.
Yes. Today.
You know?
It's a great idea.
So you asked the newsreader questions, and the newsreader probably answered you, but you didn't engage the rest of your class. You know? And so on. So how do you think your questioning strategy in the classroom is working for you?
I think I need to practice. I need to work on my questioning strategy. Because when I ask like open-ended questions in the classroom, then I forget, like, I stop and I expect the whole class to answer. And then sometimes I ask and I wait for like only one person to answer.
Yes.
So I need to practice, and I need to wait all the time. Like practice making them raise their hands and giving everyone an opportunity to answer.
Yeah. It's also built into your discipline.
Yes.
So it's built into your discipline. One child answers at a time. Sometimes questioning does lend itself to an entire class answering. It does. But at that point you need to have the entire class attention for it to have value.
Yes.
So maybe we can just work on that in the classroom, So halfway through your lesson, through your news, you ask the children to draw a picture.
Yes.
Okay? And they had to write their names. Maybe good practice is to explain the entire activity to them.
Yes.
And then to walk around one by one to help the learners. Because over here, you let them write their names, and then you walked around one by one to check if they had written their names. And the other learners who were a little bit faster, they were waiting. What must they do next? So if they write their names and you tell them now, draw your news, and teacher will come around to look, then at least those faster learners or the learners who understand, they can carry on with the activity.
I should do that, yes.
Yeah, that might be a better idea.
Definitely.
And you also need to maybe explain to the learners, share your news with the learners.
Yes. I thought I just share general news when I explain. But maybe for my own, I should have done that.
Share your news and maybe draw a picture as well.
Yes.
So that they can understand how to use the space on the page. Because some learners only use a tiny little space on the page, and other learners use the entire page. And we want to encourage them to be able to express themselves by using the entire page. So if you use the entire page in your drawing, they will also. Will you try that?
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have group leaders in your classroom?
No, I don't at all.
Instead of you collecting all the pages, assign the group leaders to do so. Will you try that?
I will definitely.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to assign the group leader to the entire row.
No.
Maybe just him and the two children behind him, and then the other ones as well. Okay. And so that you could maybe manage the rest of the children while the group leader is collecting the pages. Because as you're collecting, you have some children running around the classroom, throwing each other with things, patting each other on the back, doing all kinds of things because you're spending a lot of time with the individual children. So notice in the children's handwriting books, and I'm sure in the other books as well, or on the other books as well, that they have those curled up pages, and that is from its bad posture, because so the children will write and they pull up their pages and do all of that type of thing. So a good suggestion is to get a piece of cardboard. You cut it into a square. Let me try to do this quite slowly. You cut them into a square, and then you fold them like this. Right? And then you measure them off that way. You just get a little bit this way, and then you cut it like that. Yeah. And then the pages live inside this pocket. You have to staple the ends down, right? And then each child has one on this side and one on the other side.
Such a good idea.
We keep the ears down. So when you introduced your handwriting lesson, I noticed you went straight to the board, okay? And there was no gap between your news lesson and your handwriting lesson. Sometimes it's a good idea to prepare them for what's about to happen. So when you do a handwriting lesson, we should do some finger exercises to warm up the fingers. You know, shake your hands. It will help with discipline as well. And playing piano on the table, you know, and maybe writing their names in the air with their fingers for large motor movements and all of that. So flashing, shaking, good song is the Incy Wincy Spider song. And then they know they're preparing themselves for the handwriting lesson. Good morning. We're here at Hillside Primary this morning to meet with Humaira Omar. She's a grade 1 teacher straight out of university. I mentored her 14 days ago to help her with her discipline and to improve her lesson planning. I'm back today to see which strategy she's implemented and to see if she's improved in her classroom practice.
Good morning, girls and boys. Good morning. How are you all this morning? I'm fine, thanks. We're going to sit down quietly. What is the first rule? Raise your hand, one child who knows. Raise your hand.
Keep quiet.
What is the second rule of our classroom?
Sit up straight.
Now on Wednesday, each and every one of you will get your lollipops. But only if you behave for today and tomorrow. Okay? And if you do not behave on Wednesday, you're going to be very sad because you cannot get your lollipop. Okay? Right, today we're going to do 3 parts of our news. What do we get in news? First, we're going to talk about the weather. Then we are going to talk about sports. And then we are going to talk about our news. Our own news that we're going to talk about. Okay?
My name is Mali.
The weather for today is
Cold.
what should we wear even in school?
You wear your jacket and your boots and your gloves and your head.
The bus take the people's dead and the those to people's beds.
What did they steal in the bus?
People's bags. And you are going to draw your news. Okay? But my news for today is that I went to my friend's house. I'm going to draw my house. Okay? This is my friend's house. Will you please hand out these pages to your group? Thank you. grade 2. Where do we start? Okay, so today is the 18th. We write number 1, 18th. Then we write a line. Then we go down, up, down. F is a small letter. Can everyone see that my L is small? Yes. Right. On this page. The first thing she helped me with was my lineups in the morning. To get all my children lined up in the morning, and I bring my girls in first, then my boys, we have order. I make all them stand behind their chairs, like I did before. But what she helped me with was reminding them of the rules. It really helps to tell them, like, what they must do. They must know the rules.
Yeah, and so they're little grade 1s and they need to be reinforced continuously on a daily basis. You're on rule number 1 and rule number 2.
Yes,
I'm going to leave you alone. When I leave you, you need to implement the third rule.
Yes,
and you've got to come up with that third rule on your own. And your news lesson was a lot more constructive and constructed.
Yes.
And you gave the children an opportunity to ask questions.
Yes.
How does that work for you?
It really, really helps. It helps them to think about, it gets them to think about it's their news. So they can talk about it whatever they want, and they can give their question strategy really helps to get them to ask questions and see how they answer. And to get them to speak more in the classroom, because they don't like to talk. So this is an opportunity to get them to talk about what they want.
It allows them to gain confidence at the end of the day. And I see that you also implemented the big drawing.
Yes, whole page. Got them to draw on their whole page now. Show them. Thank you so much. It really helps.
Yeah.
Instead of just they don't know, because they grade 1, so I realized I need to show them what they must do, how to use your page, to use crayons. To do instead of the pencil. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then when we were done, tell me about the group leaders that you implemented in the class.
That's wonderful. Every teacher should assign a group leader in the classroom.
Yeah.
Each row, because they grade 1, so I have to assign each row. I can't have one for my whole class. And my class is 41. So I have one group leader for each row, because I have 4 rows. And then I tell them, you're the group leader for this week, and then each week we'll have a different group leader.
Okay, and are the children enjoying being part of a group?
Yes, they love it.
What do you think the implementation of group leaders in your classroom, what kind of skills does that develop?
It develops the leadership skills, the responsibility, and the ownership.
Obviously, hey. And did you notice that the other children can't wait to be group leaders as well?
They are. It really gives them something to look forward to.
Absolutely. When your lesson was done and everybody collected the pages and everything, you went over into handwriting. How did you introduce your handwriting lesson?
Thank you so much for teaching me the skill to teach them to use their hands, to shake their hands, play piano, to get their fingers ready to write, to warm up their hands.
So some warming up fingers, it prepares the children for the handwriting lesson.
Prepares them.
So tell me, what kind of skills would you continue using in the classroom? Which ones would you continue using?
I use all. All of them too.
Which one worked best? Which one is your favorite one?
My favorite is leadership. I love that. Because that gives them, then I'm not running, when I walk around normally, they'll be talking and they get bored. Now if someone is collecting, it's like, everyone's waiting for someone to come collect my page, and they look forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what did you get out of this mentoring experience?
Because I'm a first year teacher, I've just come straight out of varsity. I got a grade 1 class, I can take any help that I can get. I really appreciate you coming and mentoring me throughout this whole experience. Teaching me a lot of things that's going to help me. Thank you so much. I really look forward to implementing all of them and bringing in new classroom rules. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.